This live sports presentation is proudly brought to you by New City Nissan, Zippy's, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Jack in the Box, and Shopo, Hawaii's Police Officers Union. This is HHSAA Soccer, Hawaii Preparatory versus Baldwin. Live and local from Hilo to Hanalei, we're covering the spectrum of games that people play, and it begins right now.
Waipio serves as the setting for a showdown of Cinderellas in the Queens Medical Center Division I State Soccer Final. It is the 3-seeded Hawaii Prep Kamakani taking on the MIL champs, the 4-seed in the tournament in the Baldwin Bears. A look at the brackets to see the path forward for both of these two teams. A pair of wins for both Kamakani and Baldwin to get into the state final. Baldwin on Thursday defeating Kapolei 2-0. Hawaii Prep a 2-1 winner over ILH runner-up Iolani. And then last night in the semifinals, Hawaii Prep a late winner to defeat Kinkeikaulike 3-2. And then Baldwin withstanding a barrage from Punahou 3-1, the victors over the two-time defending state champion. So here we go. A matchup of two teams that really have not been here, Brent, as we get Hawaii Prep for the first time ever in the Division I state final after winning the last 2 years Division II state championships. But they are up in Division I, ball in the air for the first time in a quarter century as we look at how both teams got to this point. For Hawaii Prep, Brent, Kamakani, Jake Schneider was outstanding.
Yeah, and you know, here's Pletch. This is the 40th minute, end of the first half, converts a penalty kick. He's right there again. You know, he didn't get credit for the goal. Connor Hunt did, but he's in the attack. He's always around the area. And then on the last goal there, he was able to find the ball in the 79th minute. That tight angle that we saw last night, I don't know how he got that ball in, but he's a knack for the goal and in these big games.
Absolutely amazing, that last goal from Jake Schneider. As we look at the player to watch, though, for Kamakani, we are going to hear a lot of Jake Schneider. No doubt about that. He has been money in this tournament. But CK Jim, he has been the rock in defense the last 3 years. And in the last 2 state Division II title games, he's got a goal apiece. 2 of his 3 career goals coming into this year were in state finals. He just shows up on the biggest of stages. Yeah, and as a center back, you know, he's going to be tasked with making sure that they're organized. They're going to be playing against the 3 front runners for Baldwin and making sure they're balanced. But if they're set pieces or he's able to counter out of the back, look for him to take long shots as well. And on the other side for Baldwin, we mentioned in the state championship match for the first time since 1993 and just the second time ever. The Bears last night against Punahou got out to a quick start, a 2-0 lead. Punahou got one back before the break. They end up winning it 3-1, but it took quite a bit of holding on late. Yeah, good service on just in the 9th minute to put one away on a set piece, but Deloso Flaco there showing what he can do, getting a pretty nifty patience, putting a ball away there, and then here a service into Danny Souza, putting that ball eventually the 3rd goal of the game. Daniel Souza, our player to watch for the Bears. He had assists on both of the first 2 goals. Then he put that one away late 75th minute against Baldwin, and he is the guy that is going to really have to control things in the midfield. The midfield battle is going to be absolutely critical here tonight. Yeah, so it's going to be an exciting match. You know, you look for Daniel Souza. You know, he stepped up his game in the second half. He really rose around a lot of the services, a lot of the tackles, and so he's very brilliant on the ball. He's leading the team or tied with the lead for 6 goals. Look for him to either assist or put a goal in tonight. For the first time ever, we will have a Division I champ from the neighbor islands. Will it be Baldwin? Will it be Hawaii Prep? 80 minutes, maybe more, to decide that as the Division I final, moments away from commencing here on Spectrum OC16. We'll meet the starters when we return out to Waipio. Back with you in Waipio. It is Hawaii Prep and Baldwin, the Division I state final here at the Queens Medical Center Boys Championships. And to meet the starters for both Kamakani and the Bears, let's send it over to the public address announcer here at the Waipio Peninsula Soccer Complex, Mr. Chris Shutter.
Good evening, soccer fans, and welcome to Waipio Peninsula Soccer Complex for the Queens Medical Center HHSAA 2018 Boys Division I Soccer State Championship. Tonight's championship match features, out of the Big Island, Interscholastic Federation, 3rd-seeded Hawaii Prep Kamakani versus, out of the Maui Interscholastic League, 4th-seeded Baldwin Bears. Let's meet the starters for the Kamakani. At forward, junior, number 2, Jacob Schneider. Midfielder, junior, number 6, Riley Hyatt. At forward, junior, number 7, Toby Balaam. At forward, senior, number 8, Elon Nybrief. At midfield, junior, number 10, Tage Boyette. Forward, junior, number 11, Christopher Whitfield. At defender, senior, number 12, Javon Flippin. At defender, senior, number 18, Kento Komatsu. At defender, junior, number 22, CK Jim. At midfield, junior, number 25, Brendan Moynihan. And in goal, junior, number 1, Stormer Horton. Head coach, Richard Braithwaite. And here are your starters for the Bears. Defender, senior, number 2, Kai Sears. Midfielder, senior, number 3, Jacob Hogan. Defender, sophomore, number 4, Kobe Kuge. At forward, senior, number 7, Angelo De Loso Flaco. At defender, junior, number 8, Christopher Berry. Forward, senior, number 10, Jonathan Saito. Midfielder, senior, number 11, Daniel Souza. At forward, junior, number 13, Daniel Maybe. At midfield, senior, number 14, Hayden Hawes. At midfield, sophomore, 17, Kyle Cummings. In goal, junior, number 0, Elliot Tom. Head coach, Kane Palazzato. Your official for tonight's match are head referee, Ayush Dakal. AR number 1, Cassidy Dixon. AR number 2, Anil Upadhyaya. And fourth official, Michael Fricano. Shake hands and good luck this evening.
Moments away from kickoff, the D-1 state final, Baldwin and Hawaii Prep, each looking for their first ever state championship. We'll get this thing going when we return out to Waipio. New City Nissan is Hawaii's premier Nissan dealer and a proud sponsor of high school athletics. Visit them online at www.newcitynissan.com. New City Nissan in Kalihi. Our New City Nissan field report, Jimmy Bender standing by to set the stage for this D1 final. Jimmy, how's it going, man?
Hey, thanks a lot, Jordan and Brent. Hawaii Prep right now going through their little pregame chants over here. Cha-cha la vista, something I think that's Spanish for fighting chicken. We'll look into that later. But I can tell you as far as what the coaches say are the keys for tonight, here's how it goes. On the Hawaii Prep side, Coach Rich said, main thing for them, he said, we need to dictate tempo somehow, some way. He said that mostly goes through the outside backs and the midfielders and ball on their feet. If you see a lot of balls over the top, you'll see him not happy on the sideline, he said. On the Baldwin side, Coach Kane told me 2 players mainly dictate the game for him as far as he's concerned. One for the other team, one for his. The player on the other team, he said they need to stop Jake Schneider. He said also they need to do some balls, get him through to number 7, Angelo De Loso Flaco for his team, and see what happens there. That's it from here on the field, guys. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy. And Jake Schneider already 3 goals in this state tournament, just 2 matches for Kamakani to get to this point. Familiar with a lot of these players from Baldwin, having played with a lot of Maui guys during the club season. Hawaii Prep and Baldwin. The winner of this one will claim their first ever state championship, and underway we go from Waipio. Baldwin wins over Kapolei and Punahou to get to this point. Hawaii Prep defeating Iolani and King Kekalike to book their trip to the state championship match. Glad you could join us. Jordan Helly, Brent Murakami, Jimmy Bender alongside with you. 80 minutes, maybe a little more to decide the D1 final. And Brent, both of these teams very similar in sort of how they want to play, right? Very solid in the back, 3 in the midfield. They like to get numbers forward. They like to knock it around a little bit. What are you looking forward to here? Maybe some key matchups so far.
I think fortunate for both teams is it's a championship game. You know, they've played 3 days in a row now. Since Thursday, they got that first round bye, which everything occurred on Monday, but they're playing on three games in a row. Also, you know, that they're, I think against each other, it'll be a little bit more finesse than they've seen in last night's semifinal match. You know, I think in last night's game, as well as the quarterfinals, both teams having to play a little bit more physical than probably they would like to. Tonight, I think you're going to see a lot of technical ability from both teams, looking to just keep good, clean possession from the midfield, looking to connect up to the 3 front runners for each team.
Of course, one of those guys, Jake Schneider, his first touch of the ball. CK Jim, outstanding coming forward for set pieces as well. He and Brendan Moynihan locked down central defense for Hawaii Prep. HPA, their 3rd consecutive state final, the last 2 coming in Division II. They won their first 2 state titles. They make the move up to Division I, and unprecedented in boys soccer, really in a number of sports. Kalaheo doing it in boys basketball, but you just don't see it where teams make the leap up and immediately find themselves in a position to win another state championship. Hawaii Prep trying to rewrite conventional wisdom, and then Baldwin back here for the first time since 1993, the first MIL squad and just the 3rd ever, the first MIL squad since 1994 when Maui High lost to Punahou, Baldwin losing to Kalaheo in 1993. In 94, the goalkeeper for Maui High, Kane Palazotto, who is the head coach for Baldwin now in his 15th year. Free kick for Daniel Souza. Both teams really pride themselves on set pieces, both attacking and defending. Loft one towards Stormer Horton, and Horton backpedaling, but sure-handed. Horton back, another year starting for Kamakani. Guy who distributes the ball pretty well, but Souza another look at his ball in.
Yeah, I really think looking to just challenge Stormer Horton to keep him on his goal line, setting up potential, you know, free set pieces down the road.
Chris Whitfield on the ball. Tripped up by Barry. That midfield battle is going to be so interesting to watch. Jake Schneider working in from the right wing off the outside of the foot. Wanted Whitfield. Cummings and Hayden Hawes, the 2 center backs for Baldwin. This whistle will be in favor of the Bears.
And talking about those central midfielders, you know, I think on both teams, you've got Elon Nybreth for Hawaii Prep, who really in the second half came along as well. He was playing a little higher than he was in the first half, really getting those balls and servicing in, like we saw in that game-winning goal to Jake Schneider in the 79th minute. yesterday, as well as on the Baldwin side. Danny Souza, like we talked about in the open, able to get more of the balls to his feet. His collection, as well as his distribution forward to his three front runners, and if those forwards are not open, he'll look to play back to his holding midfielder in Chris Berry.
And of course, for Hawaii Prep, the other two in that midfield triumvirate, Riley Hyatt, Tage Boyette, sitting in sort of right behind Nybrief. And on the opposite side, Daniel Souza plays a similar role to Nybrief, and he's got Hogan running along with him in the center of midfield. Then also Chris Berry, that holding midfielder who sits in behind those two and right in front of Hawes. Cross, maybe lurking on the back post. John Saito closest to it. Really no trouble for Horton. We had an early substitution. Kupono Coyle comes on for Kobe Kuge at left back for the Bears. Schneider coming back onside. The flag was up. Schneider starting pretty wide here.
Yeah,
attacking that area with Whitfield a little more central.
Exactly, kind of where we saw him finish a game last night, looking to really get opportunities from the winger position. Whitfield yesterday was more playing that wider position, and Schneider was playing inside.
Hogan, a chip forward. Deloso Flacco's cross, left-footed in. Saito challenging, but Moynihan strong in the clearance. And to your point, just a couple of minutes ago, Brent, both of these teams, I think, really maybe for the first time this tournament, feel they can really settle in and knock it, take turns on the ball.
Yeah, that move, having Schneider on that winger position, just gives him a little bit more time and space, able to use some isolation and 1-versus-1 opportunities. When he sits inside in that point of the three front runners, you know, he's most likely going to be double teamed by the two center backs for Baldwin. So it just kind of allows him to float around in that area, looking for those through balls like they did for that game winner last night.
Of course, very similar to what Baldwin does with Angelo Deloso Flacco. They moved him from a central role wide left midway through the season. It's paid big time dividends for them. Sometimes a little more comfortable seeing the entire field working in from those wide areas. Can you imagine the first quarter hour or so, both teams going to really look to settle in, see what's available. Schneider trying to combine with Whitfield, one of the Bears down. Fitness a big question in this match. Danny Souza down. He's got that thigh wrapped up pretty good. Baldwin had to withstand a barrage from Punahou yesterday. Hawaii Prep, tight game against Iolani in the quarterfinals. Nearly sent to extra time yesterday against Kinke Kalike, rallied from a 2-goal deficit, 3 unanswered, but they were pushed. And so both of these teams, who aren't extraordinarily deep, like we usually see some of the teams that make it this far into a tournament at the state level, fitness and availability is going to be a huge, huge factor.
Yeah, it's about what team can show up for one more game of the year. You know, talking to Coach Palazato on the Baldwin side, he spoke about, you know, finding goals were a tough thing this year.
Schneider brought down just outside the area. Kobe Kuge back in. Kupono Coyle moves into the center of midfield with Souza coming out, but Schneider, the class, what a touch, and then brought down by Kuge.
But that's what Schneider will do. He'll look to take players on. He'll run strong and opportunity to maybe sell it just a bit, but Kuge comes in there, kind of blocks him away, and Schneider falls to the ground. Opportunity is about 25 yards away in the middle of the field for Schneider and the Kamakani.
4 in the wall for Baldwin. Pretty ideal position for Schneider to have a go at goal. Flippin is hanging out top of the 6. Big target, very good in the air.
Yeah, especially as a right footer here, he's probably looking to hit that near post where Tom is not.
Schneider, the rip,
oh,
saved by Tom.
What a save.
Schneider struck that near perfectly, and Elliot Tom, who has had himself one standout tournament, adds another highlight reel save. Cummings cleared in off the line.
Yeah, and Cummings is important right there to clear that ball away. If not, it's finding the far post. But Tom to come out of nowhere and to get on that near post and bat that ball away. Huge.
Tom, not the biggest of keepers. A nice combination there. Balaam laying it across, and the clearance went off of Whitfield's hand. But Tom taking over for Dante Perez-Martin, was first team All-Hawaii with the Bears, multi-year starter. And Tom steps in as a junior, undersized, but the coaching staff loves how quick and athletic he is, and you saw it right there on full display. You know Coach Palisato, the old keeper that he is, you can bring a smile to his face, but Tom, and we have seen some outstanding goalkeeping in this tournament. Jameson Sato was heroic for Kamehameha Hawaii as the Warriors from the Big Island defeating Kapa'a to claim their first ever state championship. Hawaii Prep trying to make it a Big Island sweep here in 2018. Just about 10 minutes in. Best opportunity, the free kick for Schneider.
Yeah, and in these big games, you know, just a little bit separate each other from each of them. They've earned their way because you know, this year they've been the two best teams. You know, so the goalkeepers are going to be called upon to do their job. The forwards, the midfielders are going to be called upon their you know, time to finish, you know, when given those opportunities. We saw Baldwin yesterday, and the two opportunities that they had in the first half, they cashed them in for goals.
Hawaii Prep seen a little more of the ball in the first 10 minutes. Running out of the midfield, Saito will drop it back for Deloso Flacco. Souza back on, took the wrapping off. He'll play it wide. Here's Deloso. Angelo Deloso Flacco, a goal yesterday against Punahou, double teamed and tackled away. Well done by Kento Komatsu, but Deloso Flacco played it on the ground. Hogan gonna win it away now to Barry. That's taken away. Kamakani want to break. Schneider tried to touch it around Kuge. They're gonna pull this back, a foul. It'll be a free kick for Kamakani. And you can see both teams, and we mentioned it, mirror images in a sense, but as soon as that ball is won, quickly up ahead, particularly with Schneider, Deloso Flacco on that far sideline, those guys quickly transitioning.
Yeah, they're going to look to quickly stretch the field and then build it up from the midfield. Allow the midfielders to get some space and get their spacing correct. And so it's important that the front runners stretch the field, and then the outside backs on both teams do get involved in the offense, so they'll try and get wide on the touchlines, opening up the space as the ball finds the midfielders.
Riley Hyatt trying to work it with Nybrief up the field. Quick ball up ahead for Saito, and Moynihan will just play it out. John Saito plays centrally in that three-man front for Baldwin. Not your classic number 9, not the guy they're going to send long balls to, but he tracks into the midfield well. Link-up play is quality. It'll be a throw for Deloso Flacco. Third year with the Baldwin program. Spent about 3 years living in LA with the Galaxy Academy. Trying to lead Baldwin to their first ever state title. Headed away. Moynihan, he and Jim, as good as they come in the state. Two really quality pairings of center backs, and you got Kyle Cummings and Hayden Hawes on the other end for Baldwin. This one flicked by Flippin. Barry's gonna run it down and keep it in. The chip back central, still not cleared out of danger, and finally, Nybrief sends it ahead. Tom just gonna let it run. As Connor Hunt challenging up top. Of course, he had the tying goal yesterday for Hawaii Prep in that semifinal victory over King Kekaulike. They were the first of these two neighbor island foes to book their ticket into the state final. Kai Sears, who really was a standout at right back yesterday against Punahou. Some quality defending against all that talent on the wings for Buff and Blue. But in the end, just one goal allowed by Baldwin yesterday. Komatsu. Nybrief had it poked away by Souza. Comes Deloso Flaco. Tackled away by Komatsu. You can see for Hawaii Prep, anytime Deloso gets that ball, two guys running at him quickly. Barry lost it, trying to win it back. Good touch away by Hyatt. And he loses it. Both teams haven't quite been able to possess in long spells.
Yeah, both teams just not able to connect to their front runners. It's really what it is. The opposing team or the defensive team is being patient. They're not pressing, and teams like this are looking for high pressure because they're very good technically. So they're looking to commit players and then play behind. But when teams start sitting in, it becomes a bit difficult for teams that are looking for positive possession. As we see here, the Baldwin Bears are able to keep the ball, but they're on their defensive half. You know, the Kamakani are doing a good job of bringing all 10 players back behind the center circle.
Quarter of an hour in, you surprised that's how it's played out?
No, I think, you know, both teams are looking to do that. As far as defensively, they know the technical ability and they know what the other team's looking to do, so not diving in on players. They're going to allow the backs to play with the ball and just not getting it to the midfielders or the wingers.
Balaam with all that speed trying to run it down. Toby Balaam, one of the two brothers on this roster, his younger brother Noah, a freshman for Coach Rich Braithwaite. Then Hawes took a tumble over and crashed into the corner flag. Hawes was in a lot of challenges yesterday against Punahou. It's a very physical game between the Bears and the Buff and Blue. This one hasn't quite started out that way between Hawaii Prep and Baldwin. I think that was sort of the expectation. Two teams with the skill and quality. But that was something, you know, seeing some of the post-game reporting, David Trifanovich from Punahou, their head coach, very impressed by Baldwin, but also say, you know, hey, it may be the most physical team here remaining. That could play to their advantage. Sometimes it can play to the other team's advantage, right?
Yeah.
A little overstuck in.
Yeah, I think Baldwin was forced to play physical last night and dealing with Punahou's pace. You know, they're flying at Baldwin quite a bit in the first half, and so that is not Baldwin's game. You know, that may have been, you know, in history, but in recent years they're really looking to knock the ball and to spread out the field. They're not looking for the tough challenges, but when called upon, the players will stand up and do it.
So far, best chance, Schneider, about 10 minutes in at a free kick that was saved by Tom. Other than that, neither team able to build. Jake Schneider back on that right wing. He'll track all the way back into the midfield. Play it to Moynihan. Seen each team comfortable playing toward goal, but a giveaway. Saito looking for an option. Had Deloso Flaco making the run. Opted to play toward him. The quick giveaway, the quick transition by HPA.
Yeah, uncharacteristic of Moynihan to give that ball up. Saito not able to string a pass through.
Maybe back on the right wing. He loses it, now flipping. Nice touch by Whitfield.
See, this is where both teams flourish, you know, when there's that pressure in tight areas where they commit the defenders and they look to play across the field. That's what both teams are looking for, those types of breakthroughs. They're not looking for the lumped long ball behind. They've got players with some pace, but that's not their style, to just dump the ball behind. And so they need some pressure to play, to commit defenders and then play behind them.
Both teams very comfortable in tight areas, right? Those quick touches. So far, neither team connecting just yet. Quite the historic year. We'll name around the final in Division II and Division I. HPA, the first Big Island team to make a state final since Hilo in 2001. Hilo losing to Mililani that year. I think there were some Murakamis on the team. That probably helped for the Trojans. But we have just seen the quality from the neighbor islands, right? And Hawaii Prep and Baldwin have been two of those premier programs in Kealakekee in the past. Have a lot of success. Kinke Kaulike, the Kamehameha campuses. And just so happened in 2018, it seems to be the breakthrough year.
Yeah, just a lot more players playing soccer on the neighbor islands. You know, they're getting, you know, more clubs established there. There's also a lot of interstate travel. Some of the players on the neighbor island playing with club teams here on Oahu, you know, over on the weekends and then during tournaments. So more exposure, more experience for the players on the neighbor island playing soccer, whereas maybe before a little bit more of that physical game, a little bit more of that direct game. But now here, just more soccer players.
Yeah, that Hilo team in 2001, much more of a defensive-oriented team, right? Standout at goalkeeper. A little different now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, teams aren't just sitting behind the ball. These are quality teams looking to take it to you.
And we've got Souza on the ground again. You know, looks like something else.
And Souza's been banged up. We'll get a good look at Rich Braithwaite from Hawaii Prep, English teacher at the Waimea campus, as Souza is up on his feet, but walking pretty gingerly. Braithwaite played at Oberlin College in Ohio. Played after college at Toledo Slayers. Taught English and coached soccer in Bulgaria prior. I mean, it's a worldly guy.
Yeah.
Just a soccer junkie.
And you know, I think you know, he feels like this is a pretty special year as well. He mentioned to me that looks like it's going to be his last year, you know, at the school. Him and his wife are picking up again, like you said, road travelers, and I think off to Africa next. So, you know, if this is the year the team, you know, I'm sure wants to win it for him, let him go out with a bang in Division I.
Batol loses it, Barry. He's going to play it wide. Veloso Flacco looking for an outlet. Two defenders come. And Komatsu will play it out. And Coach Braithwaite had a soccer match as part of his wedding reception. That's how much he's a soccer junkie, and he's a fun guy to talk to, and has done just marvelous work with this Kamakani program. He said it was right after last season they decided to make the jump up to Division I. The long throw up and over the head of Maybe, and then a whistle.
Yeah, you know, he's been there 7 years. He's really felt like over the last few years, the players have really been able to play the game. You know, early on, I think it was a lot of that technical ability, just getting them to get positive touches on the ball. Now it's, you know, the tactical game. You know, he's really put a positive footprint onto this Hawaii Prep program.
And this group just relished the challenge of moving up to Division I. And talked about having a little chip on their shoulder. And a healthy one that has driven them unbeaten in the BIIF.
Only unbeaten team in the state. But we've got to think too, you know, he's up there on the campus with the pressure of the girls program. You know, very successful. Stephen Perry doing a great job. 5-time now state champion at the Division II level.
We have our referee stopping it there. The ball a little flat. Could hear it. So they'll just toss that one out and get another one in. Do have some ball boys on hand for this D1 final. 23 minutes in. Still looking for the opening score. Maybe as predicted. Two teams pretty evenly matched. Stayed in for Sears. Maybe just offside Saito.
But good run there. Maybe collects that ball in the wide position, takes a couple of touches, and Saito makes a bending run outwards. A good ball in, just offsides.
Hey, Spectrum OC16 would like to recognize the provider of Spectrum OC16 trophies and plaques, Mike's Engraving and Trophies, the official provider for Spectrum OC16 Sports. For all your special achievements, call Mike's Engraving and Trophies at 486-5220. I have a couple of impact players to award after this match. And of course, state championship trophy to be hoisted. Jaden Kozaki in, nearly ran past that one.
You've got to recognize Mike's Engraving. You know, they've been the provider for some time now, and going on maybe 10 years. You know, we do so many games, always willing to, you know, provide plaques for the players, you know, that they'll be able to keep for the rest of their lives.
Hogan battling in midfield. He'll probably have to shoulder a larger load with Souza out getting treatment. Unsure what Souza's availability will be going forward. Obviously bothered by that leg injury. Kupono Coyle slides into midfield again. Usually a left back off the bench to spell Kuge. Moynihan bumped. That'll slow down the attack. 25th minute. HPA's had the better of chances. They haven't had many. Kento Komatsu, Dean's List student. Terrific in the classroom. Boyette lost it. Also Flacco will pounce. Overlap from Hogan. Komatsu though all over it. Chris Berry may also have to play a larger distribution role out of that deeper midfield position. Schneider, a couple of rampaging runs, and here's another, was brought down. Another dangerous spot for Hawaii Prep. This one a little wider. Schneider from about as deep out, but a little more central, nearly put the first score on the board, but it was saved by Tom.
So far, that's actually been the Kamakani's best offense, you know, getting Schneider the ball off of the back line for the Baldwin Bears and able to take a turn and drive at them. You know, look for him to get the ball more often in that type of position.
Teach Boyette, the transfer from Parker School, to whip it in. Headed away. Barry's clearance only as far as Komatsu. Saito back to bother, and so Komatsu will play it back to Moynihan. Looking for the flick. Not cleared well by Sears. Here's Balaam. Quick touch. Stood up by Cummings. Here's a cross. Skims off a Hunt. And Tom able to get to the second ball. Hunt just didn't quite have the angle, but found himself left alone right on top of the 6.
Yeah, the first time we see Balaam tonight, but we'll see him get the ball up and down that flank. He's got good speed. Cuts that ball around and plays a good soft ball across.
Yeah, Balaam has been very dangerous all season. Horton out. Balaam, the game-winning goal in the BWF championship match. 3-2 win over Waiakea. Horton will play it short. Kamakani will look to build out of the back. Saito's been pretty active, but just a couple of sloppy giveaways, really the only miscues in the back for Kamakani. Batol has come in, giving them a nice boost in the midfield, usually in there for Hawaii Prep off the bench. And I think for Coach Braithwaite, you gotta be pretty pleased with how Hawaii Prep has progressed throughout the first near half hour.
Yeah, I think he's really felt now that they're able to dictate the play. I think, you know, speaking with him again after that Iolani match, that quarterfinal game, you know, it was just all thrills that they were able to win their first D1 state championship or state tournament game. You know, he was afraid that his team wasn't going to be able to dictate the play.
Kozaki off the instep. What a ball from Deloso Flacco. Put it right on his right boot. But he couldn't get enough power behind it to really trouble Horton.
And Kozaki makes a good run there. He's just probably surprised that he was so open and maybe surprised by his good first touch. He's not able to get much on that shot, but a good service in. Not sure if he's looking to one-time that or he's looking to play that ball across.
But just a beautiful ball up ahead by Deloso Flacco. He and Schneider, I mean, the absolute quality of those two of the better individual talents in the state.
Yeah, and what you'll see in the game, you know, you won't see them for 4 or 5 minutes at a time. They both like to kind of stay in their high position. They don't come back too often because they're their outlet for their teammates. Once their team wins the ball, they're looking in their direction first. That's their first option. A high ball into either Schneider like this or a high ball into Deloso Flacco. You know, and so we won't see them for periods of time, and then they'll make some sort of move or some sort of shot or cross.
Schneider, much like Deloso, every time he gets it, 2-3 defenders running at him. So Mibkai going to come on for Baldwin. He'll go up top and they'll drop Saito into the midfield. So the Bears sort of makeshift, just trying to fill Souza's shoes in the center of the park. You got Hyatt and Nybrief back on there, along with Whitfield for Hawaii Prep. And Whitfield left the leg in a little bit. Kyle Cummings, the transfer from Arizona. He's a guy that was actually pretty familiar with the Baldwin staff and Baldwin players from the club circles. Actually guest played with Maui-based clubs. His dad ended up getting a job up at Haleakala and made the transition a little easier. The giveaway, Hyatt, and deflected out. So Saito find himself a little further back, having to play in that midfield. So Mibkai, his first touch. Hogan, long rangy athlete in that midfield, pressured. The clearance only up to Deloso Flacco, but then Komatsu wins it away. Now a chance for Hawaii Prep. Kamakani pushing some numbers forward. Here's Balaam with all that speed. Positive first touch. Challenged by Sears, who wins it away, and it's out for a corner. Quickly Kamakani ahead, and Balaam, good aggressive first touch, forcing the issue.
Yeah, he's taking advantage of the opportunity. He hasn't gotten too many in this first half, but he sees that he's 1v1, just trying to get something for his team, whether across a shot and in this case now a corner.
First corner for either team. Lands for Balaam, rips. Blocked, and then a clearance. But fell to Balaam nicely, but a slew of bodies in the way. So make its way back to Horton.
Oh, and CK Jim confidently heading that ball from the center circle back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, Jim, as cool a customer as you'll find in the state. Missed some time early in December. First few BIIF games with an injury. But is back pretty much to full fitness. Baldwin looking to just hold on to it for a spell. Kozaki. Touched away by Balaam. They're going to pull it back. This in favor of the Bears. But Baldwin hasn't really been able to possess the last 15 minutes or so. Been a lot of Hawaii Prep on the ball. Nothing really coming of it just yet. Souza is standing, waiting to check back on. That'd be positive development for the Bears. Maybe a set piece could break the 0-0 score. Cummings, low ball driven in. Falls back out to Barry. And a miss hit. Hey, did you know Enterprise now rents a variety of commercial trucks on Oahu? Visit enterprisetrucks.com for your trucking needs. Enterprise, a strong supporter of Hawaii high school sports, including the HHSA Hall of Honor. For more info, log on to enterprisetrucks.com. So Souza comes back on. Without him in there, Hawaii Prep, I think, really winning that battle.
Yeah.
Even with Batal coming on. And then we see Boyette, Hyatt, Nybrief back into the match.
He is running pretty gingerly, though. You know, so I'm sure, you know, the coaching staff just saying, hey, go out there, see what it's like, you know, get a few minutes before halftime. You know, instead of sitting out and sitting out the 10 minutes at halftime and being able to give it a shot in second half. Oh, hard tackle.
Schneider wanted to run off of Whitfield, but Hawes came in a hard challenge. This will be our first caution of the match. Second night in a row, Hayden Hawes sees yellow.
Yeah, and it's his third, you know, hard foul in the match as well. But here he comes in, kind of misses the ball and hits Whitfield's ankles. You know, just not a smart tackle in there. You know, Whitfield not going anywhere with that ball. Just close in there.
Checking in for ball number 22, Skylar Wong.
So Skylar Wong will come in, as Hawes will have to exit. Nybrief, who had the assist on the game-winning goal by Schneider last night, will play it in, skips under Whitfield. And Tom read it well. Dangerous ball in by Nybrief. One of the captains for Hawaii Prep. HPA looking for that breakthrough, looking to go back-to-back in D2 and now D1. Bears have to play it all the way back to Tom. Hawaii Prep won't pressure. Maybe about 5 minutes left in this opening half. Goalless so far. Nybrief, a little chip. Schneider coming in on his left foot. Shot blocked by Cummings.
But again, that connection between Nybrief and Schneider.
Those two have been very good, really all year, last couple of years. Nybrief always seemingly knowing where Schneider is. Whistled for a high boot. Baldwin thought Sumibkai had the brake on. The boot was high. Was it in a dangerous position? The question.
Yeah, I would think on the Baldwin side, they're a bit disappointed with that call. You know, yeah, maybe 50-50 there. But yeah, clearly going to go.
Jim just going to play it square. Flipping back on. He and Boyette getting signals crossed. So, Kane Palazzato, the head coach for Baldwin. Sleep, few and far between for him these days. Got brand new baby daughter, Aria, who made the trip, by the way.
Maybe that's the lucky charm this year.
Him and his wife Joy welcoming their first child. Couple of soccer guys through and through, he and Rich Braithwaite. Good touch. Sumibkai waiting on top of the 6. Out to Deloso Flacco. It's going to be a goal kick. Baldwin was able to pounce on those opportunities last night. That one never developed into a real true chance.
Yeah, the Kamakani have been able to get numbers around the ball behind.
38th minute. Can't imagine much will be added on to that. Horton, they play it back to him. Hogan couldn't settle. Now Nybrief back toward goal. Moynihan. It's going to be a foul. Hogan and Nybrief getting tangled up. And Jacob Hogan, the honorable mention MIL performer last year as a junior. trot forward, moving into the area. 39th minute, Deloso Flacco.
This is an area to challenge Horton in goal. You know, taking a few steps off of his end line, he wants to challenge and get these balls.
High ball, top of the area. A misclear by Kamakani, but it's right back toward Horton. So may have had a clash of heads. Chris Barry for Baldwin.
Oh, the back
and Jim for Hawaii Prep. And you saw the clearance from Jim squirt back to Horton. And those two, obviously a lot of concern. CK Jim is back to his feet. Barry still down on the turf. Here into the 40th minute. Word initially before that injury stoppage was about 2 minutes added on. But Barry still down. Chris Barry, Baldwin already a little banged up in midfield. And he has been the steadying force at that deep defensive mid, right in front of the center backs.
Yeah, and something he does well is hitting that long diagonal ball from that holding midfielding position.
Maybe they'll have to bring Jim on as well. He got a little treatment. Looks like he's going to check right back in. But for Baldwin, Barry, he'll definitely examine him. His half's done. Question will be if he's able to continue on in the second half. So, Coach Palazzanto and the Bears having to shuffle the deck a little bit.
Yeah, but you know, a sign of a good team is depth. You know, we've seen that in the state tournament. Players get injured. You know, players have to. You know, the teams go to shootout or you know are stretched the 100 minutes. You know, for a night or 2 nights in a row.
Chris Chalk on for Hawaii Prep, getting his run at left back. Skylar Wong steps into the midfield for Baldwin. He's Souza and Hogan. The center of the pitch for Baldwin, trying to hold down the fort. CK Jim back in. Flipping it slid over to center back alongside Moynihan, with Jim having to come off after the injury stoppage. So Hawaii Prep maybe have a late goal in him. Schneider couldn't collect. Also Flacco, 2 defending, and he'll just play it out for a throw. Second minute added on. We'll see how much they tack on to it after Jim and Barry went crashing to the turf here in Waipio.
Yeah, I think both teams just really want to just get to halftime. Get the players that have been banged up, a little bit of treatment, give it a little bit of a rest, get some water, refocus. I think the coaching staffs on both ends probably reassessing what needs to be done for the next 40 minutes. Well, not a whole lot of chances developing in the first half. So how are they going to push the issue to get that goal? I'm pretty sure neither team wants to get into penalty kicks.
Space. Through ball to Deloso Flacco was deflected. Now Balaam works around Sears. Balaam slowed up. Said he had his arm grabbed. May have, but no whistle came in.
Yeah, players, Balaam and Sears just battling. Yeah, Sears maybe a couple extra grabs there. Not enough for the referee to signal it, or maybe the ankle.
Of course, late goals have been one of the storylines in this year's Division I State Boys Tournament. Hawaii Prep, a late goal.
A couple of late goals.
A couple of late goals, you're right. A late goal at the end of the first half yesterday against Kinke Kalike made it 2-1 down at the half instead of 2-0 down. Baldwin up 2-0 on Punahou gave up a late goal to the Buff and Blue. They made it 2-1 at half. But here in the D1 State Final, it will be 0-0 after 40 minutes. Fans sitting on their hands a little bit. No goals just yet here in Waipio. But after 40 minutes in the Division I state final, Hawaii Prep 0, Baldwin 0. Back with you in Waipio, halftime of the Division I state final at the Queens Medical Center Boys Soccer State Championships. Hawaii Prep 0, Baldwin 0 after 40 minutes in this all-neighbor island final. Both teams looking for their first ever state championships. Back with you in the broadcast booth, Jordan Helly. Joining us, our special guest from Queens Medical Center, Dr. Elizabeth Ignacio, the surgical director for the Queens Center for Sports Medicine. And Doc, you know, Queens has always been a long-time great partner for high school athletics, for the soccer tournaments here. We got a chance to see the girls tournament last week, outstanding. And can you just tell us a little bit, you know, Queens' involvement with high school athletics and just being such a great partner and the commitment from Queens as a whole?
We're so committed. We find this to be such a privilege to be partnered with HHSAA. You know, we help cover other tournaments for HHSAA, but specifically to sponsor both girls and boys, the state tournament is such a privilege. And
for you at the Queens Center for Sports Medicine, you know, just tell us a little bit about what you all do there, and, you know, and all the great work that you folks have been doing.
Thanks for the opportunity. So, you know, we actually take care of athletes of all ages, from kids to weekend warriors to our mature golden athletes. And so it's a great part of Queens getting out into the community and not just coming into the hospital, but actually getting out there to the community and bringing a service there. Yeah,
and for Queens, especially in a place like Hawaii, right? We're as active as anybody around the world with our weather 365 days a year. And I think, to your point, you know, we get the kids, we get the keiki from all the way, the youth ages, then all the way to the golden age.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, and I think what Queens has done, but just the wide array that you folks deal with, and you know, not just specializing in one thing, but just the wide array that you folks provide.
Yeah, so we provide both non-operative and operative. So I'm the surgical director, but then we also provide, you know, primary care, sports medicine care. We have specialists in physical therapy, in vestibular rehab for concussion treatment. So we really span the gap in terms of providing care for all ages, for all athletes.
How have you been enjoying the championship night here so far?
Absolutely. And, you know, I have to say it's great to see, you know, all neighbor island finals. That's something, you know, to be really proud of. So it's a great opportunity for Queens to be a part of this.
Awesome. Dr. Elizabeth Ignacio from the Queens Center for Sports Medicine. Thanks for joining us. Our pleasure.
Thank you.
And thanks for all the support Queens has given over the years as well.
You can count on it.
Halftime in the Division I state final, Hawaii Prep and Baldwin. Goalless so far after 40 minutes. More coming your way on Spectrum OC 16. Halftime in the Division I state final, Queens Medical Center Boys State Soccer Tournament, an all-neighbor island affair. Both programs looking for their first ever state championships. It would be the first ever Division I championship by a neighbor island program, Baldwin and Hawaii Prep. Goalless at the half. Back with Brent Murakami, Jordan Helly. And Brent, you know, this is about our fourth week. We went through the OIA championships on the girls and the boys side. We went through the state championships now on the girls and the boys side. And we've been kind of lucky when it's come to these finals. So often you see, you know, it's very, very slow starting, but we've gotten some really entertaining games. This kind of one of those finals that hasn't gotten going yet after 40 minutes as we look at the stats. As always, brought to you by Pizza Hut. Just hasn't quite lived up to it.
Yeah, and literally both teams doing both the same. You know, the you know, just simple possession, you know, are looking to slow down the game, looking for that one opportunity to get behind. So possession, both, you know, 50-50. Not a whole lot of shots on goal because no one's really gotten that opportunity behind. I think one of the shots on goal was from a free kick. You know, their best chance really for Hawaii Prep. But both teams playing pretty even, playing pretty safe right now.
A look at the highlights from the opening half for Hawaii Prep. The Schneider free kick, the best thing they got going in that opening half. But Schneider on the ball was, as expected, their best attack.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to need to continue to do throughout the second half if they want a chance to get up and win this championship match. But it's just, you know, a couple of set pieces, couple of corners, couple of long free kicks, but nothing testing the goalkeeper, just Tom needing to make a huge save here on the first free kick from Schneider. And a good clearance by Cummings because that could have been the potential game winner.
And the Bears, a couple of half chances maybe developing, but just nothing really coming to fruition for either team outside of the Schneider free kick there early on, about the 10th minute or so. These two teams looking to maybe make some adjustments at the half. One thing we can guarantee, neither of these teams are playing for penalties. It's not going to be one of those halves. But you know, what's it going to take to unlock this thing?
I think defensively, both teams are going to keep doing the same thing. Hawaii Prep has really done a good job of staying as a unit. They've allowed Baldwin to knock the ball in their defensive half. And there was a couple of times where Hawaii Prep did pressure and they pressed as a unit. And so for defensively, I think neither team's really going to look to change. I think offensively, a little bit more urgency in driving in at players. We've seen some success from both teams when they've driven at defenders instead of looking to just pass and thread a ball through.
We'll send it down to Jimmy Bender for some of the updates down on the sideline. Jimmy, what you got?
Yeah, Jordan and Breton, here's what the coaches had to say about what they're looking at. As far as Hawaii Prep goes, Coach Rich said this is exactly the tempo that he wanted. He loves that. His only concern, you mentioned on the defense, he said he feels like they're playing a little too dangerous there in the back. He says we'll need to tighten that up. Over on the Baldwin side, Coach Connie said the thing he wants to see from his offense, he says, let's work the ball from the outside backs and play in some diagonal passes. He said, we need to get CK Jim out of the middle. He's just too strong in there. So that's going to be it for the Bears. And that's it from here on the field, guys. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy. Championship month wrapping up here tonight in the Queens Medical Center Boys State Soccer Championships. We move into the spring sports season right at the end of February. On the 27th, our first bit of softball coverage. Kailua Roosevelt, Mililani Kapolei on a Spectrum XCast doubleheader. On March 3rd, it'll be a Spectrum OC16 doubleheader. And then on February 28th, we'll have baseball for you before the end of February. It'll be Kailua and Moanalua on Spectrum OC16. Been a fun week. Been a fun last 4 weeks for us on the Spectrum side, broadcasting you on the Spectrum OC16 family of networks. Of course, we do so with heavy hearts. Chester Chi, longtime pillar of the Hawaii soccer community, longtime partner with us on our Spectrum OC16 and XCast broadcast. Chester passing away last July, a guy who was just instrumental in helping build the game here in Hawaii, and truly missed. Chester, our first go-around without Chester this year, but he'll always be ever present. We'll step away. Second half coming your way. Second half ready to begin. The Division I state final at the Queens Medical Center Boys State Soccer Championships. Hawaii Prep and Baldwin, an all-neighbor island affair. The winner will become the first Division I champion from a neighbor island. Goalless after 40 minutes. We start the second 40. Hawaii Prep looking to press quickly. Schneider. The clearance, though, off of Komatsu. CK Jim back out there starting the second half. He came on just prior to the expiration of the first half after coming on, after he had to step off, being the recipient of some treatment on the field. Chris Berry in that same collision left, did not return before the half expired. He is on to start the second half. Daniel Souza, who missed a bunch of that first half, nursing an injury. Not nearly 100%, but is out there to start. A giveaway. But Schneider can't link up with Nybrief. Schneider hanging out a little further back. Nybrief pushed up the field a little bit more, it seems, to start this second half. He'll drop back in a little bit with Boyette and Hyatt in behind him. Whitfield, little touch towards Balaam. Tom called for it, but Sears taking no chances. Will clear it away. So a first half that saw maybe one true chance off a free kick by Schneider.
And we've got to remember Hayden Hawes playing with a yellow card for the Baldwin Bears. So, you know, look for the Kamakani to drive and take opportunities on him. Force him to kind of defend softly. Because going down, you know, one more hard foul, you know, may lead for him to be dismissed from the game, and for a team to play with 10 players in a championship match would be pretty difficult.
Tom had to maybe get a fingertip on that one as Schneider was waiting right at the mouth of the goal. Balaam again causing trouble. His pace has been quite effective working against this Baldwin back line. Souza brought down. We'll see how much Souza has left in the tank.
A good quality service in. Schneider right there. If that ball connects with his head, he's got the Tom beat to the near post.
Deloso Flacco. 2 defenders come at him. Still on the ball. He'll cut it back off of Hyatt. Baldwin against Punahou yesterday in the semifinals. First 2 shots on goal, found the back of the net. They've had to battle through some gruesome second halves. Humid afternoon match against Kapolei in the quarterfinals. This squirts all the way through. Chris Barry nearly found it on the back post. But in the end, it skims dangerously by.
Yeah, that ball is able to go all the way across, but it's carrying away from Chris. Can't get his head on it. Definitely open.
Flicked by Hawes. Wide of the net. One of the best opportunities for Baldwin. And again, that's really all they've gotten so far. Jaden Kozaki starts this second half on the right wing for the Bears. Kozaki, the senior. It's going to be whistled out in a Baldwin throw. Balaam and Kozaki battling. It's just been one of those finals that neither team has been able to really crack the code. Neither team has become overly committed forward.
Yeah, they haven't been. Neither team has really been able to combine high up the field. They both have, you know, decent possession in the backfield, decent possession when it gets to the midfielders, but being able to do some quick combinations with their front runners, linking up to their offensive midfielders. Those are the kinds of things that these teams need in order to score. They're not the teams that are going to just play that lumping ball behind.
And looking for Kozaki again. Kuget tackles this one away from Schneider. Schneider, his brother Austin, now over playing at San Jose State. Out of some of those really successful Hawaii prep teams. Hogan had the jersey tugged. This one just waiting for a moment of inspiration. Even the crowd on hand. Decent crowd for 2 neighbor island teams in the final. You got the President's Cup taking place this weekend at the YPO Soccer Complex. A lot of neighbor island teams. You get some of those youth clubs in attendance. But it's been a subdued group.
Yeah, we're just kind of waiting for that opportunity to celebrate.
Deloso Flacco. His body's tumble in the box. Jim the header. Horton trying to run it down, and he'll get to it. Horton the punt away, and really to nobody in particular. Here's another look at the ball in. Hawes tumbled. I don't think there was really anything there. Jim Strong just went and won the header. It's good defending.
He's got whistles being blown. Don't know what's going on. Balls being thrown on the field. Not sure if they're flat or what.
We had one ball brought off because it wasn't inflated all the way. It's been a little bit of a disjointed final between 2 teams that have really made their name, 2 programs that have made their name the last couple of years for being quality, pleasing to watch, possessive teams. The combination of putting these 2 in a state final just has not added up to a flowing game. And you get that in the final sometimes.
Yeah, and of course, you know, we know the Hawaii Prep name, especially at the Division II level, and making that jump to the Division I level. And you know, Baldwin is kind of reminds me a little bit of like Kalani, you know, just a handful of years ago, you know, getting into the state tournament, making a name for themselves, getting into the quarters and the semis, making an appearance in the championship game. And this is what the Baldwin Bears, you know, they were in the quarters a couple of years ago, last year making it to the semis, and then this year in the championship game.
Also Flacco trying to link up with Kozaki again. Kozaki with a lot of pace from that wing. Huge the stab, but Schneider the touch away. Here's Schneider. Has freed himself up. Got past another defender. Got past Cummings, but it caused the clearance. How good is Schneider?
Wow.
Just on the ball, running at defenders.
Yeah, but that's been their best offense when he's not pinned against the back line for the Baldwin Bears. He's getting that ball open in midfield, in this case all the way at midfield, but really the times that he's gotten the ball 10 yards or so off of the back line from the Bears, he's been able to turn and go at him. Just hasn't gotten that last shot or that last pass to a teammate for a shot.
There's a foul. You're gonna send another ball off.
Yikes.
I assume it's the same batch of balls we played with for the D2 final. Could be wrong. Cummings just gonna play it back to Tom. So we've got a ball to the standards of our officiating crew and back into action. We're going to play it back under the boot of Hawes. Whitfield not close enough to challenge. Souza hasn't found much of the ball, just has not had the mobility with that injury, but out there gutting through it. It's a clever ball ahead, whipped in on the back post, cleared away by Sears. Sears got in great position.
Yeah, because Balaam was right there. If Sears did not clear that ball away, but a good one-time service across from Schneider.
So Flacco doesn't get to him. Great step by Komatsu. Wanted to lay it off, but Schneider wasn't running with him. And this whistle going to go in favor of Hawaii Prep. Chance for Baldwin to break. The giveaway from Komatsu really started that sequence. And now Nybrief can maybe pick out ahead.
It's a good position for Nybrief to serve a ball. A good angle is going to force Tom to come out and challenge for it, exposing his near post.
Plays it on the ground near post. Tom's building, cleared away. You had the big bodies of Jim and Flippin in there, and instead Nybrief played it on the ground. Tom still down. Baldwin on the break though. Deloso Flacco, Jim tracking back. Plays it wide for Saito, and Moynihan steps in. Tom still slow to get up. Looks to be okay. Gives the thumbs up.
But a
What an
good,
idea.
crafty service in.
And for the Kamakani, number 13.
Then a nice job by Moynihan on the other end for Kamakani to slow up that break for Baldwin. Deloso Flacco had picked out Saito. And Moynihan able to win it away. But Toll comes back on. He'll play in the middle of the field. Kamakani getting cheeky again. And backfires. Throw comes into Souza. One touch over to Saito. Then taken away. Nybrief brings it down. Schneider keeps it in. And Barry just gets it out of there. Saito.
There's not enough players for Baldwin following in the ball. You know, the ball gets pumped up there and there's no one asking for the next one. It's going to take more than one player to get a goal here. But a little bit more energy going forward, a little bit more urgency from both teams. You know, early on in the first half, we saw a lot of that back passing, the passing between the fullbacks and the back line. But here, it's going to the midfield, and pretty often than not, it's going forward.
A little more spunk to the step for these teams, but and you're pointing out, Brad, I think, you know, even with guys like Souza, who we saw that late run against Puno, that resulted in that clinching goal in the 3-1 victory. That support from the midfield so vital. even for Hawaii Prep a couple of times. You know, we've seen Balaam get involved. We've seen Komatsu get forward at right back. But they haven't been able to find those combinations. Whitfield tracking toward that sideline, and Sears again defending. Cummings.
And neither team really been able to get their outside fullbacks involved in the offense, and both of these teams want that, you know, but they haven't been able to hold the ball in that forward position long enough to get their outside backs up the field.
Schneider just couldn't settle it down, and Hawes steps in. He'll play it wide for Deloso Flacco. Wants the long switch. Had Souza out there, he had maybe making a run. Looked like he wanted maybe. With the ball off his boot. Not really where he wanted to put it. Another long switch over to Schneider. Kuge, the hard step. Schneider. Beautiful touch. But Sears able to step in, right back to Schneider though. He's got a couple of options wide. Nybrief. Ball in, cleared out by Hawes. Only as far as Hyatt. Hyatt looking for an option, pushed wide by Hogan. Chip towards Whitfield. Souza got there first, and now Deloso Flacco. Couple of options. He's got the long switch to maybe, he'll push central. Deloso Flacco. Finds Hogan as an outlet. Barry. Ball just hanging back in midfield, and the support run's just not coming through. Whitfield. Nybrief wanted to link up with Schneider. It's kind of been the story, that last sequence both ways, kind of the story of the match so far. Baldwin not getting the support on the runs from deeper in the midfield, and Hawaii Prep just maybe one pass off in the attacking third. Saito's going to draw the foul, holding things up. Flippin challenging. Flippin's been very good in this tournament. Big, strong presence in the air. But Saito just throwing his body in the way.
Yeah, just putting himself between him and Flippin, protecting the ball. There's no need to foul. The ball's going on, you know, off touch.
Ball was driven low, and a misclear will result in Baldwin's first corner of the match. They scored on their first corner of the semifinal against Punahou. That came much earlier. It was Hawes on a header via Souza. Souza just going to walk over to the corner.
From that same corner, and we saw a goal being scored on in the first championship match from this corner as well.
6 in the area for the Bears. Cummings and Hawes, both center backs up.
Well, I'm surprised, you know, Souza actually hit that ball. Ref wasn't looking and gets another shot at it.
Played it near post, and there's Flippin. Strong header away, and yeah, it looked in. Not sure if that was Nybrief, who kind of looked back at the referee with a puzzled look. Deloso Flacco, again, not sure what they were thinking. It quickly results out to Schneider, who's trying to play it up ahead to Hunt. And luckily for the Bears, it's a little errant.
Yeah, that's a misplay there by Schneider. You know, you're not going to get opportunities to play that. You know, it didn't lead to a shot or anything, but that build-up with Hunt running through, having no one on him, unlike Schneider, to miss pass. But those are the things that you need to complete in these championship games. You know, those opportunities like this.
Here's Deloso Flacco. A touch wide. He'll play it back across, and he left it high. He had maybe waiting on the back post, but he never got a chance.
Yeah, he had a few options, I think, if he brought that ball back off that goal line. But Souza putting that ball in again to Flacco. Takes his time, drives it to the near post, commits Horton. You know, a tough angle for, you know, to finish there. But he had a few teammates on the back post, waiting on the 6-yard bar, the 6-yard line. He's decided to shoot. He had a tough angle.
Starting to see maybe some of those heavy legs. Neither team had the luxury of coasting at any point in this tournament. Baldwin 2-0 victory over Kapolei on Thursday in the mid-afternoon sun. Thursday's matches all played at Waipahu High School in an effort to save the pitch here in Waipio, and it has been a good decision. The field has played well the last 2 days. All 4 semifinals yesterday in D1 and D2, and then the 2 championship matches tonight. Hawes left the boot in again. They don't get a talking to from the official, and yesterday he was sort of skating on the edge. He's already sitting on a yellow tonight. Hawes the captain. Coaching staff calls him the Rock. AP student at Baldwin High School. He had the opening goal in the 9th minute yesterday against Punahou. Hawaii Prep looking for the opening goal of this state final. Komatsu wanted flipping, but it was taken away. And Baldwin counter. Maybe challenged, and flipping strong to tackle it away. Komatsu looking to pick out Schneider. Marked by Kuge. Hawes' clearance drifted out of play. So it'll be a Hawaii Prep throw. Kuge defending pretty well that time against Schneider. But every time Schneider gets it, you sense a little bit of the anticipation.
It's going to be difficult for Kuge to defend him by himself, you know, during these last minutes of this half in this game.
Now 20 minutes remaining. 80 minutes full time at the high school level. This is Division I state final at the Queens Medical Center state tournament. Kamakani going to play it all the way back to Stormer Horton. Each team just looking for that one chance and maybe the decisive moment in this match that hasn't seen very many. Who's got the breakthrough? Hawaii Prep. D1 state final for the first time. Schneider tackled away by Hawes. Boy, he needed to get that one right. And then he and Schneider get tangled up behind the play. We play on though. Not sure if there was anything malicious or just the tangling of the legs.
Yeah, that's the AR on our near side signaling, you know, the tangled legs. Maybe from his angle, looking like Schneider, you know, got Hawes after the play. But Hawes with a good tackle there, just holding his ground. Not sure if legs tangled up, but maybe from our angle, or the referee's angle here on our near side, I'll be signaling for a yellow card.
It was an outstanding tackle by Hawes. But Schneider got freed up, and it is indeed a caution against Schneider. Maybe a harsh decision. And the legs were tangled up, hard to tell intent. Schneider with a smile as he comes off, not a lot of complaints. He's a guy in his position, you know, he'll take the yellow, he'll step off, he'll come back on. He's not going to be finding himself in too many harsh challenges, most likely going forward.
Yeah, and with a forward playing with the yellow is a lot easier than a center back playing with the yellow.
Doubt Schneider will pay much mind to it. He'll be back on momentarily. Kozaki comes back on for Baldwin. Appeals for handball from Baldwin. No whistle came in. The whistle does come on the Barry challenge.
I think the Kamakani have had the better build-up. You know, they're stretching the field a little bit better than the Bears are. They're finding some positive passes forward. You know, the Bears have really just been going sideways a little bit and not getting that final pass through. And so I do think it's going to take some players to dribble through. It's tough now with Souza a little banged up, with Barry banged up in midfield as well.
Balaam finding himself a little more central, wanted Whitfield. Balaam may be the guy with all of that pace. Maybe trying to bring it in. Second touch, too heavy. Whitfield gonna play it back toward Batol. Long ball direct. Tom gonna easily get to that one. 63rd minute. Starting to tense up a little bit as we head into the final 20. Nearing the final quarter hour. And I think the sense by many in the house that the first goal might be the winning goal. Maybe trying to settle this down from Barry. Played it too wide.
I think Schneider's making his way back into the game. Just taking a quick breather, and you know that yellow card gives him an opportunity to get some water. And we saw that in last night's semifinal. The last 15 minutes, he took a couple minutes off, came back on, scores the game winner.
Souza looking for Kozaki, finds him. Played it up ahead, Deloso Flacco. Can he win the race? He's brought down by Horton. Was he in the area? Horton cautioned,
wow.
And they say the tackle just outside the 18. Boy, what a sequence. Kozaki, a beautiful ball.
Right on side for Deloso Flacco, and it's tough from our angle and even from that camera angle to see if it's in or outside the box. I think it's outside the box. He fell into the box right on the edge. I mean,
and the other factor to that, was it a offense to get sent off?
Yeah.
Was it a direct goal scoring opportunity? The touch was wide.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what saved Horton there. So a free kick for the Bears. Kamakani will bring on Zane Willman at keeper. Willman, a lot of confidence, the coaching staff in him. He spent a lot of time with Horton during the regular season. And Coach Braithwaite said they have full confidence in him. But he may be tested right away as Deloso Flacco stands over it, about 19 yards out. 65th minute of the state final. Into the wall. Finds its way to Sears. Little chip up ahead. Kamakani had some numbers forward, but they couldn't find the ball. Souza. Little quick combination. Hyatt takes it away. Finds its way to Cummings. Horton's gonna wait to check back in. Next opportunity. Kozaki battling with Schneider. It's gonna be a free kick for Kamakani. It's gonna be a caution for Kozaki. And that
not sure
drew
about
the
that one.
ire of the Baldwin fans.
No, I think even Schneider knows it too, that he kind of just slipped on the turf. Kozaki's there. Schneider's trying to get up. But here, just a little slip up really on Schneider's end. That's unfortunate, but that's the breaks. You know, going back to that first play though, and Deloso Flacco getting behind. A lot of times, coaches and players, parents will complain, "Hey, red card," when maybe a fullback makes one of those tackles like that. Well, they're not the last man. As a goalkeeper making a foul like that, that is, you know, really the last man. And you know, Deloso Flacco is just 20 yards away for a potential breakaway game-winning goal there.
Horton comes back on. So he's sitting on a yellow. Schneider sitting on a yellow for Hawaii Prep. Hawes and Kozaki have been cautioned for Baldwin. And after all of that, 67th minute, still level. Rich Braithwaite pointing out some directions. Who has maybe the decisive moment?
Yeah, when the game gets a little physical like this, got emotions, you know, players will commit forward and maybe be undisciplined in what they're trying to do or what they're supposed to be doing, exposing themselves to counterattacks. And I think in the next 5 or 6 minutes or so, we're really going to see some chances. I wouldn't maybe not see shots, but we're going to see the game really open up here.
So Mibkai came back on for Baldwin. He's playing on the wing. They've moved Deloso Flacco more central. You saw him nearly break through for that go-ahead goal. Hawaii Prep off the long throw trying to find the breakthrough. Batol Couldn't flick it toward goal, and then this one sent back in. Tom flat-footed, but got to it. First shot for Hawaii Prep in about 18 minutes. Nearly troubled Tom. Deloso Flacco trying to shield it off. Wins it from Moynihan, but may have handled it.
It's a long throw and a flick. You know, that's one that's hard to clear away, you know, for the Bears.
It's a nice job by Balaam to head it back toward Tom in goal. Well, the Bears still down. Also, Flacco tried to feed Barry running out of the midfield. Now Hawaii Prep finds it over to Balaam. He's had as much success as anybody for Hawaii Prep so far. Balaam challenged by Cummings, and a whistle came in. But Toby Balaam's proved dangerous. Right? Just creative, finds his way into opportune areas.
Yeah, with him and Schneider, you know, out on those winger positions, they need to find their feet more and allow them to drive at players. And you've got Whitfield in that as that center forward as an option to connect with after breaking down 2 or 3 players. But Balaam has the speed and he's crafty. You know, a little bit different player than Schneider, but still very threatening.
Great settle by Balaam, got it up ahead to Schneider, ran out of room. But there was Balaam again, comes in central, brings it down, feeds Schneider. Mentioned his brother Noah on the team, sister Carrie, also from the Balaams attending HPA in her time. 69th minute. Ball up ahead, Deloso Flacco in behind. Touch around Horton. Horton got a fingertip to it. Still out. Deloso Flacco. Sumibkai trying to find an angle. Deflects wide off of Deloso. Horton. And Sumibkai in Komatsu. Hand wrestling there. And Sumibkai just gets a talking to. But Horton just got a fingertip to it, and it was enough to prevent Deloso Flacco from putting that on frame.
Yeah, and Deloso Flacco's probably looking to create what he did last night, you know, being a little crafty there. But here's where the players are. You know, it's gonna be an emotional game.
And a game that, you know, didn't see a lot of that the first 45 minutes or so. But then you get into the last quarter hour, state championship on the line. Things get a little more tense. Tempers start to fly a bit. Who can control those? Who can channel it? Just 2 on the wall. Horton hanging on the back post. We'll see if Souza maybe tries to sneak one in or if he'll provide the service. He'll rip one near post. Horton collects it in the end.
Horton, you know, on that punt, you know, is almost releasing it. You know, over that line. We saw that called yesterday.
Yeah, we saw Tom called for that. Led to the Punahou goal. Hard to tell from our angle up here. But you heard the shouts from the Baldwin fans, that's for sure. Horton, give him a lot of credit. Picked up the yellow, had to come out on that challenge, and he had to get it right. He did.
Yeah, no. And Horton's got to make sure, wow, no foul there. But Horton's got to make sure that he really does the right punt, you know, inside his own penalty area, because I'm pretty sure the coaching staff on Baldwin's letting the assistant referee on that side know the next time he punts, hey, look out for that.
Yeah, we'll get a stoppage as Hogan being tended to. He and Jim colliding, but I believe just given a throw-in. It has gotten physical. You usually see officials maybe try and tighten things up a little bit. I think the reason for the Kozaki yellow card earlier, but it sort of loosened up again. And we'll see how the final 10 minutes or so play out. An opportunity for both teams to get some water, hydration. The midfield for Baldwin has been a mash unit with Souza's injury. He's been able to play this second half. We've had now Hogan go down. We'll see his availability. Very slow to get up.
Number 3,
Hogan will be helped off. Still no scoring to speak of. So it'll be a Baldwin throw. Skylar Wong comes back into the midfield for Baldwin. Boyette's back on as well for Hawaii Prep. He's one of their center mids. Maybe a little too out for Baldwin to play the direct throw in. They'll drop it over to Wong. Whitfield, space to turn, finds Schneider. Schneider slowed up, Baldwin throwing some numbers behind the ball. Schneider, calm, mature decision there, just played it back. Here's Boyette. Now Schneider finds a channel. He'll play it outside. Hawes steps and beats Balaam to it. 74th minute.
Yeah, Hawes did well to get to that ball. He kept Balaam onside, you know, and he knew that was his last resort. Balaam's on to go on a 1-versus-1. But Schneider, again, picking out the right players at the right time. Can't give him any room. And if he gets by one defender, another Baldwin defender needs to be in Schneider's face. Now he's going to be able to distribute the ball.
This one knocked wide. Schneider trying to run it down. Touches it past Kuge. Then Kuge takes it away. The Bears can't link up. They wanted Sumibkai on the near flank, but Barry's passed behind him. Baldwin's been a little more dangerous with Sumibkai outside and Deloso Flaco central. Komatsu back on, pushing forward. Tackled away by Hawes. Hawaii Prep likes to get Komatsu up into the attack. See if Hawaii Prep can maybe pick out Whitfield or Schneider. Balaam waiting on that far wing. Boyette lost it. And now the Bears want to transition. Barry back to Souza, all kinds of space. 5 forward for Baldwin. Souza, what a step by Jim. Flip it, battling. So ball just sent wide. Boy, Darian Kramer comes on. His really first involvement nearly broke the scoring.
But a good build-up there, and Barry's ball to Souza in the midfield caused this whole play to occur. Opportunities will be coming in the next 5 minutes. I feel it.
Whitfield just took it with his hands. After Souza couldn't get to it. Kramer. A quick cameo nearly led to a goal. He, like Souza, had a sister come through the Baldwin soccer programs. Sister Brianne, outstanding player, now over at HPU. Baldwin a little more confident in attack. They haven't been able to put one past Horton just yet. Kozaki to take the long throw. Kozaki, Waikapu guy. Line drive towards Deloso. Wants to settle it down, and Flippin steps in. Whitfield. Out for a Kamakani throw. 77th minute, 80 minutes full time here at the high school level. Kamuela Lindsay, we saw him make a late cameo second half yesterday. Volleyball and football athlete. They look for him to go 3-5 minutes at a time and just endless running.
Yeah.
We'll see if maybe that pressure, the pace, can cause some trouble for Baldwin here late.
Yeah, he's coming on with fresh legs against a Baldwin backfield who has played long minutes this week, and so Lindsay will be pressing them to the end of the match.
So Mibkai brings it down. challenged as Tage Boyette couldn't take it away. Kuge Schneider. Excellent job by Schneider tracking back. 3 goals for Schneider in this tournament, 2 of them coming within the last 5 minutes of a half. Does he have another late goal? Could it be a late winner? Veloso Flacco. Checked by Hyatt. Got past one. Wanted to combine with Sumibkai. A good job by Boyette in midfield. Kuge and Schneider collide. No whistle comes. Souza looking to get free. Brought down from behind. And CK Jim will be the 3rd booking for Kamakani in this final.
And a critical time for CK Jim to have to take a little bit of a breather. Oh, good collision there. Yeah, definitely a foul. And CK knew it, you know, but he's off. You know, he's waiting to be subbed in again at the next opportunity. But last night we saw it for Kinke Kaulike. Their center back, Woolley, had to you know, go off the field due to cramping. The next play, Hawaii Prep cashed it in.
And Kuge trying to walk off a cramp. Saito comes back on for Hogan. Hogan was banged up earlier. I mean, it's a battle of attrition when you get into the state tournament trying to win 3 matches in 3 nights.
Yeah, exactly. And Kuge's got to be sure of himself because he's playing against Schneider. So it's not about just wanting to play. He needs to understand if he's, you know, his legs can really go or not. But I think they may be making a switch.
Yeah, they bring Maybe on and move Kozaki back into defense. Souza stands over the ball. 4 in the wall for Kamakani.
It's a good spot here.
Souza. Never dipped. 2 free kicks.
Souza's got to force Horton to make a save there. You know, put it in an area, maybe not with a lot of power, but make Horton make a save, you know, and hold on to it. And if he doesn't, you know, you've got front runners there to collect the rebound. You've got to get it on frame when you're in a position like that.
Last free kick Souza had. He put it on frame. Forced Horton into a save. In the end, Horton did well. That one, though, never threatened. Maybe and Flippin getting tangled up. Word is down on the sideline, we may be looking at about 6 minutes additional. We saw the Hawaii Prep Kinke Kaulike game get into unheard of territory. We got near 9 minutes added on. We haven't seen any goals. We've seen some stoppages for treatment in this half. That is for sure.
We've had treatments and we've had yellow cards.
And we may have
and
enough
flat balls.
Yeah, that's true. And we may have enough time to find the winner. A goal could win it. The giveaway. Schneider trying to peel off. HPA couldn't find him. Cummings. Professional tackle that time. I think he knew he probably needed to bring it down.
And an opportunity for his team to get reset. But here, also an opportunity for the Kamakani to get one forward.
Flippin stands top of the area. Nybrief, very accurate, usually with his service. Jim stays back, so Flippin the one big aerial target forward. Boyette, Schneider, also standing top of the 18. Service a little low. The clearance out to Deloso Flacco. And then Moynihan, excuse me, will just send it back ahead. Komatsu. Ozaki playing it over to Hawes. Needed the quick touch. Right back to Boyette. Nybrief wanted to line one up. 3 bodies thrown in front of his shot. And now Kamakani will bring it all the way back to Jim. Jim the Schneider. Sears pokes it away. Now the Bears can slow it down. Maybe he wants to go long. Deloso Flacco skips off of Moynihan, but Komatsu right there. Excellent job by Komatsu covering. Each team has been composed defensively when they've needed to. And another substitution. Shimibkai will come off, Kuge back on at left back and push Kozaki a little further upfield. Again, unofficially, we were told about 6 minutes added on. We were 3 minutes through that. Is there a late winner? Is there a late championship decider?
Yeah, you got to look for chances to get high up into the attack and draw some penalties. You got some heavy legs, so players need to start driving, and get players to foul.
And Whitfield taking the foul, held up Souza, and no protest from him, but he will be cautioned. Recognition from each team. This is the final. Hunt will come back on for Hawaii Prep. About 4 minutes into stoppage time. Could be looking at an additional 2. Baldwin throwing a bunch forward.
They've got to make sure that they don't get countered because Schneider is standing open on that left wing.
And the touch out to him. 3 forward for Kamakani. Here comes Schneider, gets free. The punch across, and Kozaki tracking all the way back. Out for a corner. But as you pointed out, Brent, that was a calculated risk by Baldwin. They threw a bunch of bodies in the box, and the counter almost begging to be brought out by Kamakani, and nearly. Schneider, unselfish, had Balaam if that ball went through, maybe for the tap in.
Well, Kozaki was clutch there, but Schneider did exactly what he needed to do. Now he's drawing a corner kick.
Jim and Flippin
Look
forward.
Flippin, yep. Flippin was close 2 times yesterday.
Schneider drives near post. Flippin nearly got to it, it's cleared away. Cummings the initial header, and then cleared out, and a whistle also came in. 5 minutes in the stoppage time.
But a good quality service. Again, we see Flippin on that near post. Not too sure what the whistle was for. You can see it in a little bit of a strong tackle.
Souza called for the handball. Hawaii Prep wanted to go quickly. Cummings will win it and pick out Souza. Souza, Deloso Flacco, flag stays down. On comes Kozaki as well. Komatsu, so composed back there, able to win it. Deloso Flacco, long switch, wants maybe, he's offside.
Well, from our angle, it looked like that first service in may have been offsides, and I think the Hawaii Prep sideline thought as well. But AR signal no, but that second one in.
Ball finds its way all the way through. A layoff for Schneider. It's out for a Hawaii Prep throw. We're more than 6 minutes into added time at the end of the second half. And we will go to extra time. 80 minutes plus, not enough for the breakthrough. Hawaii Prep and Baldwin scoreless in the D1 final, and it will be golden goal extra time looming. Kamakani and the Bears looking for their first ever title. Extra time looming. Extra time looming. Hawaii Prep and Baldwin 0-0 after 80 minutes. It's the Division I final at the Queens Medical Center Boys State Soccer Championships. Jordan Helly, Brent Murakami back with you. Jimmy Bender patrolling the sidelines Glad you could join us for Championship Saturday here on Spectrum OC16. Kamehameha Hawaii already a winner, defeating Kapa'a in the D2 championship match. But Brent, here in the D1 final, two teams, very creative sides, but they just have not been able to find that breakthrough.
Yeah, just no one really having that quality shot. You know, we saw that last opportunity for Hawaii Prep with, on that counterattack. You know, it was a free kick originally for the Baldwin Bears, lump forward, and then they get countered and Schneider's open, not able to connect with Balaam on the back post. But we really haven't had a share of quality shots yet.
Hawaii Prep looking to make a Big Island sweep here on Championship Saturday. We mentioned earlier Kamehameha Hawaii 3-2. It was a goal in second half stoppage time on a penalty kick by Jonathan DeMonta.
We saw a couple of own goals.
Kamehameha Hawaii. It was a wild Division II game, kind of the polar opposite to this one, and an entertaining contest that saw Kapa'a nearly push that into extra time. The goals were wild. The last sequence was wild. The call for a penalty, I think, left a lot of people asking a lot of questions, but in the end, DeMonta buried it. And Kamehameha Hawaii, first time state champion. We'll have a first-time champion in Division I, Baldwin or Hawaii Prep. It's golden goal extra time when we return to Waipio. Hawaii Prep 0, Baldwin 0. 80 minutes in the books. Extra time, number 1 coming your way on Spectrum OC16. It is the Division I state final. It's golden goal. A goal will win a championship for the first time at the Division I level for either of these two programs. It will give a neighbor island program a state championship for the first time ever at the Division I level. It has been a historic year in 2018. And at least one more chapter left to write in the tale for both of these teams. Baldwin and Hawaii Prep just deadlocked. Jordan Haley, Brent Murakami back with you upstairs. And Brent, both teams, even as that got into the last 10, 15 minutes or so, they were going for that winner.
Yeah.
You would imagine probably the same way to start this this first extra time period, I should mention. 10 minutes. If it remains 0-0, we'll go to a second 10-minute golden goal period. Still level after that without a goal. We would head to penalties.
Yeah, we've had a couple of penalty kick shootouts on our broadcast this year, but I don't think we've had a golden goal game winner yet. That might be an exciting finish in 2018.
Is the breakthrough in the cards? Do either of these teams have a goal in them over the next 20 minutes? Or will it be penalties to decide the state championship? A foul. And again, it is golden goal. A score will win it.
We've got multiple players on both teams with sitting on a yellow card as well, you know, so that may play a factor.
Huge played it on the floor for Deloso Flacco, who let it run. It hit the corner flag, but it ends up rolling out for a corner kick. Deloso Flacco wants to take it. Souza has taken the majority of the corners, and now he will trot and provide the ball in. Cummings is up for Baldwin, as is Maybe.
And we saw Hawes connecting yesterday in the semifinals from Souza on a corner.
Souza high ball, back post, and a one-timer from Saito. Never had a chance. Second minute of extra time. Hawaii Prep has been dangerous with Balaam and Schneider. It's Hunt out there to start this extra time period with Schneider on the opposite wing. Chris Whitfield, central. Flipping now strides forward to join the attack. On this long throw from Nybrief. Ball headed down. Shout for a handball. But in the end, Baldwin plays it out for another long HPA throw. How much is left in the tank for both of these teams? Nybrief again. The toss near post. Headed out by Hawes, only as far as Nybrief. He'll play it in with the right boot. Headed back in. Finally whipped out by Saito. Jim runs it down. Whitfield bumped by Barry. Now free kick taken quickly by Hawaii Prep. Good touch wide. Nybrief working against Hawes. Nybrief deflected out for a Hawaii Prep corner.
And this is about the same time last year that Hawaii Prep won in overtime against St. Louis, a 2-1 victory. CK Jim for Hawaii Prep hitting the game winner in the 84th minute. So they're in familiar territory. Looking to remain the only undefeated team in the entire state, D1 or D2.
Hyatt gonna play in the corner. They whip it near post, headed away. And the ball whipped back in. Tom had to parry it away. Tage Boyette had it sit up nicely for him. And an assist against Iolani in the quarterfinals, excuse me.
Yeah, good strike by Boyette. That ball finds it to him and it takes a deflection off of Sears. And Tom does well to parry that ball away.
Flipping in Jim Ford. Hyatt, the corner, up top, still dancing around. Tom comes to get it. Boy, Jim just couldn't quite get some pace behind it on the header. And Tom took a fall, landed on the hip. But Flippin and Jim continue to be dangerous on those long throws and on the corners.
Yeah, Tom needed to avoid some contact by Schneider coming in. Landed on his hip. Right there, Flippin. Opportunity to connect, just didn't connect with it well. It was right at the right spot for him.
And our official will head over to the sideline to talk to the fourth official. Maybe to confer on time? Not exactly sure what the discussion would be about unless the fourth official has something conduct-wise from one of the benches.
No idea what is going on.
And they're also talking things over with Kane Palazato, the Baldwin coach. Are they going to make Tom come off as they stopped it?
I don't.
No treatment
no
came
treatment,
on.
Yeah.
None of the trainers came on for treatment.
Yeah. The goalkeeper's got a little different snarl there. Even though the stoppage is on the goalkeeper, if the trainer does not come on the field, he should.
Mass confusion. I have no idea what the stoppage would be for. And we've seen at times during this tournament, players down for cramps allowed to stay on because no trainers came on.
Yeah.
You know, Kuge sharing a laugh. Obviously, they'll add all of this on. But I am thoroughly confused why Tom needs to come off. And he will have to come off, and I believe. Chris Berry's just going to have to go play in goal for the time being. And now the other AR is going to come in and have a conversation.
Yeah, we've got referees coming in out from the stands. We got Jan Allen coming down as well, checking on what the issue is.
Yeah, and
just
I think they need some serious clarification on it.
It needs to be clarified here. It's critical decision. I don't think he should have to come off the field.
That's not how it's been officiated throughout the tournament. In the matches we've seen, we've seen players stretched out. And now we get word that there's going to be a weather delay. Add that to the night.
What the heck?
And we did have a flash of lightning off in the distance, and I believe we are going to have a 30-minute weather delay. We are hearing it from Chris Shutter over the PA. Go figure. Schneider and Tom, those two guys know each other very well. Over talking story a little bit, and we may shut this thing down for half an hour. And they are going to take the precaution with lightning in the area. Who knows if Tom can come back on when we restart this thing. It has been that adventurous at times. We are in the first period of golden goal extra time. And the teams will have to seek shelter. There's not a lot of shelter here in Waipio.
I think all the fans are going to go home and just watch it on TV in 30 minutes.
They might, but seriously, there are not a lot of structures at the Waipio Soccer Complex. So we'll see how this all plays out. We're going to step away. We'll get you updated when we return. There's a weather delay right now in the D1 state final. Baldwin 0, Hawaii Prep 0. Chaos here in Waipio. Well, we are back with you in Waipio. It is gone final, a weather delay. We appreciate everybody hanging out, sticking around. We know we had a lot of communications back and forth, people texting in, asking, what the heck's going on out in Waipio. It is the Division I Boys State Soccer Final at the Queens Medical Center State Tournament. Brent Murakami, Jordan Helly back with you in the booth. It's kind of a ghost town here in Waipio, but the big news, there was a weather delay about 5 minutes into the first golden goal extra time period. It was 0-0 after 80 minutes. We headed into extra time. They were trying to get the game in tonight, and then the discussion started. You've got two neighbor island teams from differing islands. Obviously, Hawaii Prep from the Big Island, Baldwin from Maui. They threw a couple of scenarios on the table. The weather tomorrow is supposed to be worse. They were going to attempt to play it there, but after some discussion, the team captains from both squads, the coaches got together, and they actually have declared, and this is unprecedented, really, co-champions.
Wow.
Not in a sport where you can end up tied, like in track or wrestling or something like that. Hawaii Prep and Baldwin have been declared co-champions in Division I boys soccer. Again, we really have not seen anything like this before. And to be quite honest, it was the teams. Yeah. The teams decided what was going to be the course of action. Tomorrow wasn't a great option. Getting these teams together on Monday was going to be a cost incurred that really didn't make sense. Having one team travel to the opposite island was thrown out there. But in the end, the teams decide, and it's kind of bittersweet at this point, Brent. As a competitor, you want to go out there and finish it on the field, but Mother Nature and the regulations just didn't allow that. And it's kind of a weird feeling, but both of them declared co-champions.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing too. But it is this whole tournament that weather played a little bit of a factor, and the games are moved to Waipahu High School on Thursday due to the rain, and here tonight. I think it's kind of, like you said, a bittersweet thing that they're co-champs, but I think a forever bond now between these two teams that was created on their discussion. They went back and forth. They both kind of took their time to talk to their teams, came back again. So it's definitely going to be a bond between these guys on the co-champions.
A lot of familiarity between the two teams from the club circuit. You had Rich Braithwaite, the head coach for Hawaii Prep, Kane Palazzaro, the head coach for Baldwin, getting together, discussing a lot of the options, what the possibilities were with the HHSAA officials. You had the captains, Hayden Hawes representing Baldwin. You had Javon Flippin, Elam Nybrief for Hawaii Prep, along with with their crew. And so they talk it over, and bittersweet. But it is what it is, Brenton. For the first time ever, we have a neighbor island Division I champion in boys soccer. We got two of them as they share it, Hawaii Prep and Baldwin. Wild, wild week.
Yeah, and to end the state championships or the state soccer season this way.
And so that'll do it for us from Waipio. Again, we appreciate everybody sticking around with us on Spectrum OC16. A long, long delay. But in the end, Hawaii Prep and Baldwin, no separation on the field and no separation in the history books. The Bears and Kamakani co-champions in 2018. The two neighbor island squads break through, and they share the title. What a week it has been. Kamehameha Hawaii in Division II, Baldwin and Kamakani sharing in Division I. For everybody here at Spectrum OC16, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Aloha from Waipio.
Live sports presentation was proudly brought to you by New City Nissan, Zippy's, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Jack in the Box, and Shopo, Hawaii's Police Officers Union. If you would like to purchase a DVD copy of this event, please visit the shopping section of our website, oc16.tv. Programs generally available within 2 weeks of first airing. High school sports exclusively on Spectrum OC16.